I'm trying to level all WoW Classic classes to 60 without dying a single time, but I need to create my characters at random. In the last episode, I spun the wheels of fortune and they chose a troll mage that can only use frost spells. With that handicap, we managed to survive Durotar, and now it was time to test my skills in the Barrens. A zone that looks like a savanna, filled with exotic animals like giraffes, zebras and lions. It's one of the things I really enjoy about World of Warcraft, the fact that Blizzard made their zones so recognizable, with areas you can find in the real world. When we crossed the bridge over the South Fury River, we were presented with the first serious quest that took us all the way up the Dreadmist Peak. Dark smoke filled the air as we destroyed a demon seed. Without any trouble, we made our way back down the mountain and headed to the Crossroads, a buzzing town full of new adventures. After picking up all the quests, we entered the savannah and start killing some animals. Something I only do in video games, by the way, since I'm a vegan since 2015. Perhaps I should try the Don't Kill Any Beast challenge someday? For now, I soon hit level 13 and decided to Hearthstone to Razor Hill. The reason being that I want to prioritize all the green quests first. When I hit level 13, a few quests turn green, and in WoW Classic each quest gives a set amount of XP, no matter if it's green, yellow, orange or red. Only grey quests start scaling down XP, and that's something I'd like to avoid. Another reason I'm prioritizing green quests is that they are usually much easier to accomplish. And because we're playing hardcore with a handicap, I think it's the smartest way to avoid dying in some stupid fashion.
The red aspect? You're just saying it because of this. Okay, like... Oh!
So we went back to Razor Hill because there was a mage quest all the way back in Senjin Village that I would like to complete. I never did this quest before, and to my surprise it would reward me with a very juicy offhand item, a ley orb. This item is a mana potion on a 30-minute cooldown. Essentially another free out of jail card, because, well, mana makes sure we can kill stuff. Again, we took a swim to the Echo Isles, where we had to destroy some juju piles. If you don't know what a juju pile is, well, it's a pile full of skulls. After destroying the piles, we collected our offhand item and headed back to the Barrens. Along the way, we completed some quests, I'm so sorry, poor animals, and took our first flight on this character to Orgrimmar. In the capital of the Horde, we picked up the cooking skill and went to the Valley of Honor to level our engineering in the hopes of getting access to target dummies soon. Then, all of a sudden, we got a random guild invite. I always decline these random spams. When I don't know anyone on the server, my strategy to join a new guild is this. When I played with a player that was friendly and I had fun playing with, I usually joined their guild. It's wise to keep track of cool players anyway, because World of Warcraft can be a toxic environment sometimes.
Yeah, you're a fucking garbage hunter, kid! Fuck you!
Wait, who are you talking to? There's no hunter in the call.
You're literally the most garbage hunter.
Wait, who?
Who?
Trash little bitch. Trash little bitch.
Who?
Fuck you.
For me, it's not all that bad. I see the game like the real world. There are nice people and, well, not so nice people. So when I interact with cool people in the game, I always make sure I add them to my friends list and block the ones that are toxic. Anyway, I got this random invite, and when I looked closer to the name, I recognized it as being the Egg Guy. His name is Karen TV, and I watched a few of his hardcore death clips, where he supposedly smashes an egg on his head when he dies.
This is so bad, boys. Oh! It's happening. Let's get fucking eggy. Shit! Oh, dude. Fuck. Oh, boys. Fuck.
I thought it was kind of funny, so I joined the guild. After my rounds in Orgrimmar, it was time to fly back to the Barrens, where we killed more animals and completed more quests. At level 14, I gained access to a new rank of Frostbolt, so it was worth going back to Orgrimmar. You might notice that I play the game not very efficiently, going back and forth to places. For the average player, that is just awful.
It's awful.
It's all fucking awful!
For me, I like just being in the world, and I don't mind having to travel to places and just go where the quests take me. I guess that makes me a true classic Andy. It's relaxing for me, vibing through these beautiful zones, enjoying the music and completing quests. After I trained the new rank of Frostbolt, I flew back to the crossroads and made my way down south to Ratchet to pick up a bunch of new quests. Not only did level 14 provide a welcome DPS upgrade, but it also meant I was ready for the first dungeon. Ragefire Chasm. If someone wanted to take me, of course. Since I'm only allowed to use frost spells, it would make sense for groups to pick a mage with their full toolkit. Though, the only spell I'm really missing that could help the group is Polymorph.
I'm just following like...
To my surprise, no one made a fuss about it, and I got invited at my first attempt to find a group. The group filled up quickly, and I was glad to see we had a hunter named I Die at 20. That meant our chances for survival increased, if only a little bit. Our tank was level 16, so it felt like we were going to blast off. Until we didn't. A little bit into the dungeon, one of the hunters started DPSing a bit too soon, and his pet probably pulled aggro from another pack of mobs, resulting in us having to fight 5 mobs at the same time. This was a moment when some AoE damage would have been nice. After I routed the group of mobs, the tank ran out, and I didn't notice. Luckily for me, we had a god gamer of a healer who shielded me just in time. But because I have a 40-year-old slow brain, I realized at the last minute that everyone had bailed. Oops. Thankfully, I was able to Frost Nova the pack of mobs and get out just in time. Again, the healer waited for me and shielded me once more. You see, these are the types of players I add to my friends list. The warrior, however, is the type of player I'll block, running out without even saying so, and then leaving the group while the rest of us are still running for our lives. That's what Asmongold calls a true roach.
Roach, bro. Roach. 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 Roach out. Roach out, bro. You don't. Yep, there it is. You're done. Roach. Roach. Oh my god. Bro, I hope he dies. There it is. Yep, he's done. There you go. Run. Run. Roach. 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 Roach out. Roach out. Roach out. There you go. Nice. Nice. You're out of combat.
We all made it out alive, and we decided to let the hunter's pet do the tanking. The healer had his doubts though, and when I asked everyone if they wanted to abort, it happened. A wand had just dropped. I know, it's a crappy wand, but at least I can continue to do DPS when I'm And if that wasn't enough, 1 minute later, I got my hands on this nice rope that gave me a whopping 7 frost spell damage. Typically, there's very little spell power gear in WoW Classic, and when I looked up the item on Wowhead, I saw that it has a 0.07% drop rate from the exact mob that dropped it. On top of that, the rope comes with random enchantments. Most of the enchantments provide a mix of stamina, intellect and spirit. Only 3 enchantments give spell power, and one of them is frost, but it has a 4.7% drop chance. So here I am, playing a frost-only mage, solo self-found, and this super rare item drops. I mean, look at the odds. 0.07% times 4.7% is 0.003% chance to get this specific item. I'm not a mad genius, so I hope I got that right. Anyway, the odds were very low, so this had to be a blessed run. We hadn't even killed the first boss yet, and I'd already been granted a wand and a rope with frost spell damage. But alas, the healer got cold feet and wanted to find a proper tank. We found one pretty quickly, but since the tank was only level 12, the healer bailed, which is understandable if you don't want to risk losing another character. Soon we found a new healer and we were ready to continue the blessed run. Or wait, blessed? Maybe it was a cursed run, considering we were rotating through tanks and healers like it was nothing.
Right now, you shut up! Are you doing this? No, I'm doing this!
Well, it was time to find out. The way to the first boss was pretty smooth, and we killed it without any trouble. But the hard part of the dungeon was about to start. When I say hard part, don't take it too literally, because this is probably the easiest dungeon in the game. If you're running with god gamers, that is. But I had a weird feeling in my stomach that we were not a bunch of god gamers. And that feeling proved to be right when we started the fight with the second boss. Again, the hunter pulled too soon. This time it was a patrol close to the boss. Since the mob stood its ground, fighting the bad, the level 12 warrior charged in and pulled the boss. I mean, look how he got clapped. To make things worse, another patrol came along and we pulled that one too. At that point I had pulled aggro from the boss, and it was a fraction of a second before I would have died. The priest shielded me just in time, and I used my sticky glue on the boss as we decided to run out. On the way out, the priest almost died, and I was happy to help slow and root the mobs so we could get out alive. We made it out, and by now you would think it was time to give up. But it wasn't. One of the hunters said goodbye, and since there's a 1-day lockout for dungeons on hardcore servers, the chances of finding another DPS were slim, because people usually want to do a fresh run of the dungeon. So we agreed to continue with the 4 of us, which is doable, but probably not the smartest thing to do, especially with this group. We made our way back to the second boss. We pulled, and I started blasting with my new improved frost bolts, wearing my brand new robe with extra spell power. And that's when I made a major mistake. You see, I might be a classic Andy, but I never actually played a DPS class properly. Back when WoW Classic was released in 2019, I rolled a druid and played as a healer until Wrath of the Lich King. Having a lot of experience as a healer, I noticed that a lot of DPS die because of over-aggroing. Surely, I would never make that mistake when I eventually play DPS, right? Well, I have to admit that in this fight, I wasn't paying attention to threat at all. I even installed an add-on called Blader that gives the health bars of mobs different colors based on the amount of threat I have on them. But I ignored it completely. With a low-level tank, I should have paid way more attention to threat, but I didn't. So I ended up in a private fight with the boss. And well, see for yourself how that went. Fucking healer, man. In the end, I still blame the healer for not casting any heals on me, even though he had plenty of mana. But of course, I shouldn't have been in this situation in the first place if I had slowed down my DPS. Overall, the experience taught me some important lessons. Always keep an eye on your threat. And most importantly, only play with god gamers. To rub more salt in the wound, a nice bracer with intellect and spirit dropped from the boss, but it was too late. The blessed run had turned into a cursed run, and I had to spin the wheels of fortune again to see what the next challenge would be. But that's for next time.